This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
A lot of questions have been asked about what exactly are the crimes that could be charged Donald Trump as a result of investigations that lead to indictments, that lead to trials, and that lead to conviction. Like what would the crimes be? And I've read a whole bunch, and I found an article that I think really sums it up the best, the most concisely. It's way longer than what I'm going to read for you here today and talk about for you here today. So as always, the links to the things that I read and some of my sources and the things I talk about are at the bottom of the description. I would encourage you to go there. But this is from the Business Insider. The January 6th panel is gathering evidence Trump may have broken these 5 federal laws. Now, this is a summation generally of the things, but there are more that absolutely could be charged, because obstruction of justice isn't mentioned in here, and that is something that we witnessed take place in the transcripts of the call with of not only Zelensky, but also in the Mueller report, where he was trying to cover up his tracks relative to several things, and there were, I think, 8 instances of obstruction of justice that were outlined. There are many other crimes that all need to be addressed. They all need to be investigated. We can't let, just because some time has passed and tempers have cooled, that we ignore them. Because if a president of the United States cannot be held accountable because he is just too powerful, we don't have a justice system. The first is conspiracy to defraud the United States government. The House Select Committee stated in a March 2 court filing that it has evidence that Trump and his campaign team violated one federal law by engaging in a criminal conspiracy to defraud the United States. If the Justice Department, likely via the U.S. Attorney in Washington, D.C., were to charge Trump with breaking this law, federal prosecutors would have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the former president knowingly agreed with others to attempt to obstruct Congress's election certification process by deceit or dishonesty. Now, if you paid any attention to the January 6th House Select Committee and their public hearings, you'll know that they've laid out a pretty rock-solid case that that is what happened. That Donald Trump indeed did know. He was told that the election was fraudulent. And now some of the emails that we've seen released, I've done videos about them, they also indicate that the campaign, which Donald Trump, it didn't run itself. Donald Trump is a micromanager of the highest order. He knew too. The second, obstructing an official proceeding. The House Select Committee also argued that Trump violated another law by allegedly trying to, quote, obstruct, influence, or impede an official proceeding of the United States. Now, this one is clear. This is probably the easiest to prove because of the fact that he absolutely instructed the mob to go up there and influence, not the strong Republicans because they don't need it, but the weak ones, they need to be pressured. Come on. Prosecutors could make a case that he broke this law by pressuring his then Vice President Mike Pence to stop Congress's election certification process, or for telling his followers the election was criminal and to march on the Capitol where the certification was about to start. Prosecutors can also use evidence of how Trump tried to pressure Georgia election officials to overturn the election results to claim that he broke this law and other Georgia state laws by engaging in criminal solicitation to commit election fraud. This, again, is public record. We've heard the calls to Brad Raffensperger telling him, I just need 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have. The next is wire fraud. Probably a more fraught proposition because politicians, this is dealing with campaign finance, and politicians don't like to tightly restrict campaign finance laws because it will then restrict them more tightly on how they raise money. But here we go. During a hearing held on June 13th, the House Select Committee revealed that Trump's campaign raised more than $250 million from his support base and claimed that he would use the money to create a legal fund to challenge the 2020 presidential election result. The committee revealed that the fund never was made and money was directed toward a new political action committee called Save America. The PAC then sent the money Trump's campaign raised to several pro-Trump organizations. And then two more on the list here: witness tampering, which again, the committee has revealed in recent hearings that Donald Trump himself has called witnesses who haven't been revealed yet to try to sway them, to pressure them to not testify or alter their testimony. During the latest January 6th hearing on July 12th, the committee provided new evidence that Trump tried to call January 6th witness, an action that could have constituted witness tampering. Republican Representative Liz Cheney, who is vice chair of the committee, did not disclose the identity of the witness, but said that the person alerted their lawyer who alerted us. The Wyoming Republican said that the committee has referred this matter to the Justice Department. Also, during another hearing on June 28th, the House panel also offered evidence that unnamed associates of Trump may have engaged in witness tampering in an attempt to withhold truthful information that may be damaging or incriminating. And again, people will say, well, that's not Trump, that's someone else. They're not acting independently. They're not doing it for their own sake to save Donald Trump from legal fallout or charges. And then finally, the most obvious of all, inciting a rebellion. Given his speech on the ellipse that day, the speech we witnessed that we've seen played over and over and over, inciting a rebellion against the United States of America. The House Select Committee is revealing more evidence on Trump's direct involvement in the January 6th insurrection. Federal prosecutors could potentially build a case that Trump incited a rebellion or insurrection against the United States. Cassidy Hutchinson, previously testified that Trump knew his supporters at the Ellipse rally held earlier that day were armed and carrying weapons. She recalled Trump saying, "I don't effing care that they have weapons. They're not here to hurt me. Take the effing mags away, the magnetometers. Let my people in." During the committee's 7th public hearing held on June 12th, lawmakers presented new evidence claiming that Trump knew in advance that his supporters would march to the United States Capitol building on January 6th. If Trump is charged with this crime, prosecutors would have to prove that Trump knew in advance that the violence would occur on January 6th. And we know that his team absolutely did. He even tweeted, "It's gonna be wild." What's gonna be wild? So listen. These are but some of the crimes that could be charged. They're going to find all kinds of things out throughout the course of the investigation. They have a grand jury impaneled, and if they're doing their job well, they're getting to the bottom of things. If they're doing their job well, they're uncovering facts that even the January 6th committee has not yet uncovered. But it's a good start, the information that the January 6th House Select Committee has provided to the Justice Department and to the public. What do you think? I would love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me, daily@dollemore.com. I welcome your communication. Absolutely. I love to hear from you. I also love to hear from you on social media. You can reach out. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. I am at Dollemore. And if you're feeling in the spirit and you want to help support and produce my work, click the join button below. Become a channel member for as little as $1.99 a month. Or you can go over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. I'll see you next time. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Be genuine. Take care of one another.